Paramount, you suck. So my first video got a copyright strike against it for having clips in it with no audio, my own licensed music, and me talking in the top corner. Boy, CBS really hates people talking honestly about their dog water shows. Why did it get a copyright strike? In Canada, we're allowed to show clips for the sake of criticism or review, yet because my stuff has been critical of their stuff, they don't like it. I'm not the only one that this has happened to, too. Take a look at the Angry Joe channel. It's the same thing. So much for fair use or fair dealings here in Canada. I'm sure that CBS is also frustrated because their show isn't being embraced like they expected people to embrace it. And they think they're frustrated. I'm down to only one son left that'll actually slug it out with me into episode 3. See if we can even make it. I have my doubts on whether we'll watch it or not. A lot of the reviews are giving this show an okay and pretty good because all they've gotten so far is just nonsense. Characters we don't care about, circumstances that don't make sense or are boring, and a focus on themes like Quan or Soren. Well, no one wants to hear from them. So for me, this show is not okay. It's not good. It's terrible. But because we got a few actual good scenes, it's supposed to make up for all the garbage so far? No, leave it to the simple purity of kids that grew up on this real Halo stuff, to call it like it is. The show is boring, disrespects the original, and is unfixable at this point. I feel like I've ordered a Big Mac from McDonald's and got this instead. Well, at least it had the sesame seed bun. Episode 1 had a couple of bright spots. The first 16 minutes were actual Halo. John with his helmet on, warthogs, energy swords, elites, but that was it. Then it went to this soap opera style show that kept people focused on feelings. You ever watch an epic World War II movie like Saving Private Ryan and wish they'd focus more on the emotions and the sadness of the characters? That they'd cut out all that pesky fighting stuff and just let us watch the tough soldier crying. They should make a 10-part sequel where it's all just Private Ryan sitting with a therapist talking about his feelings. No cutscenes either to the war, just one camera angle and lots of tissues. That's what it feels like so far. And episode 2 didn't get much better. And once again left us on a silly cliffhanger. But wait, the next episodes are really gonna start getting good. After a dozen episodes now, is it really gonna start getting good? Yeah, right. At some point, you gotta accept the fact that this show isn't made for people that loved the original Halo. People that put money, not just into the game, but into the books, the Mega Bloks, the toys, the posters for their kids' walls. And why would Paramount want to do that? What, to make money? This is like Rey in the Disney films. You're all hyped to see Star Wars and all you get is this woke nonsense. I understand that Halo is more than just one character. I know that the universe is even more than just one battle between the Covenant and the UNSC. But if you're gonna have a show that puts Master Chief in all the advertising, then make the show about him, not about Quan or Soren, not about this emotional journey of Kai and Riz, not about how this weird and completely stupid Mackie has led the Covenant, even over the prophets. Stop injecting this show with elements that were never part of the universe that people fell in love with, like emotion and emotional pellets. A Master Chief that suffers from PTSD when this is a character that was taken from the age of 6 to be trained and made into a warrior. Do I think that the character of Master Chief can't have these kind of issues? Sure he can. And in the lore, he's shown to rise above that because he knows that this is his duty. He's bound to duty. He's not needing to counsel himself with an AI. There's a line in the Tom Cruise movie, The Last Samurai, where talking to his captor about being a soldier, about the hardships of war and the nightmares one has. Tom Cruise's character is asked about his nightmares, and his response is, every soldier has nightmares. Katsumoto, his captor, a samurai who has only known war, answers from the perspective of an honorable warrior. He says that about having nightmares, only one who is ashamed about what he's done has nightmares. The Master Chief has always done his duty, always been able to see the big picture, and always proud of all he had done, even the sketchy stuff, because for him, that's the duty of a soldier. The Master Chief has always been a character that was never unsure of who he was or what he was doing. Yet here, this guy has anger issues, lives a secret life away from the base, and can't get over his girlfriend from the last season. Like he said to his AI call girl in the last episode, I think there might be something wrong with me. What? Who even are you? But this isn't just an issue with the Master Chief, Because like I said earlier, the universe is bigger than one character. And this show, for all intents and purposes, is an ensemble cast, more than just the Master Chief. It focuses on characters like Soren, whose story would work well as a fan fiction to expand the universe. Maki, like I mentioned earlier, whose character doesn't make any sense. And Quan. Oh my gosh, Quan. If you've seen this episode, then you've seen this 17-year-old little girl take on gangsters twice her size, throw them over railings, launch them into space, and stopping them from stabbing her with their tiny little arms. Guess we had to get to the girl boss part of the season soon enough. This character is terrible. Takes away from what people want to see and forces us to grind out these boring parts. Useless parts in hopes of getting something in the show that we actually want to see. And in this episode, the closest we get is after 40 minutes, Silver Team is off to go and find the other Spartans and maybe fight the Covenant. And that's it. Peak entertainment for me and my boys. Good grief. All I want is stuff for my sons to actually enjoy. Actual Halo stuff that they've read in their books and played in their games. So how are they able to get away with all this? Simple. And it's because of what I said a few seconds ago. Silver Team. Anyone worth their salt that loves the lore knows that John's team was known as Blue Team, the four-man team that conducted hundreds of missions and always led the way for the UNSC. So why aren't they Blue Team here? Why Silver Team? Because this is the Silver Timeline. That's how they're able to get away with all this false advertising of Halo. This is another universe away from the core lore. It's able to justify everything they've done, because if you ever have any questions or you're gonna ask, hey, that's not right, they can simply say, oh, but it is. This is the Silver Timeline. And just like the Marvel movies and all the garbage from Disney and even the DC universe, it's a multiverse scenario. The Halo universe is multiverse now. Get used to it. We can make Master Chief do whatever we want, like remove his helmet all the time, which if you complain about as not being canon, they can simply say, well, it is in the Silver Timeline, so suck it. As I've asked before, who is this made for? All this is another franchise that the woke media is changing because they can. And to no one's surprise, no one's watching it. Well, how do I know? Well, for one, no one's talking about it. And then you go on YouTube and you can see that episode 1 has been put online, fully, for free. And how many views does this multi-million-dollar show have that everyone's gonna love? Just over 1,000 views. Holy crap, I'm just a starting YouTuber, and my silly nonsense little videos are getting more views than that. And my budget is 0. This show is just like all the rest of my favorite franchises of late, deceptively advertised. They say this show would be better than the first season, admitting that the first season sucked, but never tell us how much better. I feel like it's moved from a steaming pile of crap to a lukewarm pile of crap. So you know what I'm gonna do in the meantime? I'm gonna reread The Fall of Reach, continue playing Halo Reach with my boys, and talk about the good old days with them. Well, cause like Pablo Schreiber said, this show isn't for me, and that makes me sad. Keep my other video restricted because of your copyright strike, Paramount. It's not gonna make your show any better.